Hello. It's Randy. And today I'm so excited because we're gonna do something really fun. I don't really know what to call this. I'm going to make a mystery TBR for myself for 2023. And essentially what I'm gonna do, which is kind of like a variation of videos I've seen of like wrapping your TBR for a month so you don't know what book you're getting. I've seen a lot of like those kinds of videos. Essentially what I did was I picked, let's see if I can do this, 12 books off of my shelf that I have unfortunately neglected, that I still want to read, but I've neglected. And I am going to wrap them. And each month of 2023, I'm going to pick one of my wrapped books to be one of the books I read for that month. And it's gonna be fun because by the end of it, I'll have 12 books that were just kind of sitting on my shelf and collecting dust, read and completed, which is really exciting. And I think you guys can all understand and relate to, like, you go to the store, you find a book, you read the description, it sounds super interesting, and you're like, yes, this is the one, I'm gonna buy it, sounds really good. And then you get home and then you're just not in the mood for it, and so you pick a different book and then it kind of sits on the shelf, collects some dust, gets neglected, and then it's a long time before you actually get to reading that book. And that is what happened with these. And I am trying to combat that with this. So hopefully this will be something that kind of motivates me and adds like a element of mystery and surprise to reading some of these books that I picked out because they sounded really good. It's not that any of these books have anything wrong with them. It's just I got bored of these and I wanted a shiny new book. So yeah, so today we're going to be wrapping some books. Let me know if you do this idea too. I think it would be so fun and like a good way for us to get through the books that have been sitting on our shelves without it being too intimidating and being like, this whole month I can only read books from my shelf, because like I'm still gonna allow myself to buy new books and get new books and read new books. Like, of course, like I would be so sad if I couldn't do that. But I feel like this is a non-intimidating way to get through books that I already own and have that I've already bought. So yeah, without further ado, let's get wrapping some books. The first book on my stack that I'm gonna be wrapping is a copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll. I bought this with my dad when we went book shopping together from Half Price Books, and this was on his list of fantasy books that you have to read in order to call yourself a fantasy lover. So let's get started with wrapping Alice in Wonderland. Books I actually got at the thrift store recently. One is The House of Four Winds, and it's book one of the One Daughter. I swear. You guys really gotta stick with me with all these pronunciations. Okay, book one of 12 Daughters by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory. Is this guy? I picked it up at the thrift store, and I think it was a library donation because it says Library of Philadelphia on it, and it has like the plastic wrapping on it. I didn't actually read the synopsis before I bought it, but it's like a pirate fantasy, which I really liked, Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. So I thought that that would be a fun one. And then I also picked up this one called Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit by Nahoko Yuhashi. I am so sorry for butchering that name. Also, this book just looks so cool, and this one was also a library donation. It says, she protects children and adults, the rich and the poor, in a quest to redeem 8 lives lost for her sake. She's a master of the short spear and expert in the martial arts, dazzling even her opponents with her fearlessness in combat, and she will need every one of her skills in her latest job. Guarding the second prince, Changum, for the prince is the Morabito, the guardian of the spirit, chosen to deliver the egg of the water spirit to its home in the distant sea. If he fails, a drought will devastate the land of New Yogo. But as Balsa and Changum travel across the country, learning more about the spirit and the secret history of the empire, they find themselves hunted by two deadly enemies, the egg-eating monster Rarunga, Rarunga. Yeah. And the prince's own father. Yeah, and it says, translated into multiple languages and adapted for a major television series, Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit, introduces readers to a fantasy world like no other and a fighter they will never forget. This author has written 10 books in the Moribito series, so I wonder what book this is. Oh no. Okay, this one is the first one. Woo! Okay, that was gonna make me so sad. Wow, there's like a ton of movies. That is so cool. Okay, so let's wrap these really quick. I feel like I've been really looking out at my local thrift store. I don't know. I mean, I haven't, honestly, I like started picking up reading this year in like August. And so I haven't spent a lot of time scouring like my local thrift stores and stuff as much as I have recently. And I always loved reading as a kid, but I think there are a lot of us readers who kind of like forgot about their love for reading, or like just got super burnt out and stopped for like a really, really long time, if that makes sense, and have fallen back in love with it as we've gotten older. And so I have really been enjoying like scouring my local thrift stores for interesting books. Like I picked one up the other day. Well, I actually picked two up the other day that I'm really excited to read. They're like books that I had never heard of like on TikTok or anything, but they just seemed really interesting to me. And so I think sometimes it's like fun to like not be influenced by social media and like just pick out a book because it just seems interesting. I don't know if that's just me, and it's fun to like get a lot of cheap books. Like, I don't know, that just like makes me happy. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way, but yeah, so I was really excited to find these two at the thrift store because they seemed really interesting. I had never seen that where a library is done with the books and so they'll donate them to the local thrift store. And so there was like a ton of library books in the thrift store, and I had never seen that before. And I don't know if maybe because I haven't been on the reading train for a while that like maybe that's like a normal thing and I just didn't know, or what, but it was kind of cool to see, like, I don't know, that you could get them for like $2 or $1 and like get these cool library books. I don't know if I'm alone in like thinking that that's cool, but it was cool to me. So anyway, I'm gonna finish wrapping these two and then we can check out the other books that we have. We have two that are kind of like young, but like they just seem interesting to me. If you watched the video where I went book shopping with my dad, I picked up How to Catch a Boggle by Catherine Jinks. And I'm not gonna like go through the whole description of the book again, but I have this one and I just haven't gotten to it. And so I'm gonna wrap this one up. And then my dad recently gave me Ichabod by J.K. Rowling. And it says, as tall as two horses, eyes like glowing balls of fire, long razor-sharp claws, the Ichabod is coming. And these two give me such similar vibes, like it cracks me up. They're books that I want to read, I just haven't gotten around to them, so I'm gonna be wrapping these. if you guys watched my book shopping in Hawaii video, I picked up this book called In the Seat of a Stranger's Car by Beau Flemister. And he is a local to Hawaii. He's a local author, and I picked it up at a bookstore that specializes in Hawaiian history, books about Hawaii, and books published by Hawaiian authors. And I just haven't gotten around to reading it since I picked it up. And yeah, so I am going to be wrapping this one as well. Ooh, 2 other recent thrift store pickups are Funny You Should Ask, which has like kind of gone viral, I think a lot from its aesthetic, by, who's it by? Alyssa Sussman. I picked this up at the thrift store for like $1.50. And then I recently read Lynn Painter's Better Than the Movies, and it was really good. And so at the thrift store, I saw another one of her books, Mr. Wrong Number, which is an adult romance. Whereas Better Than the Movies was a young adult romance. So I'm curious to see, because I think my main problem with Better Than the Movies was it just seemed really young. So I'm curious to read one of her adult romances to see what I think about it, if it's gonna be like too smutty or if it's gonna be like the right amount. I'm not sure. But yeah, I also recently picked this up at the thrift store and I just haven't gotten to it. These are so cute together. So I'm gonna wrap these books really quick.
1 eternity later.
10 million years later, we are down to the last 4 books. The first one is The Bone Witch, which is the first book in this series. I honestly do not know how many books are in this series. I feel like I'm a lot more interested in this now that I read the Serpent and Dove series, which is all about witches, and I loved it. But this is about a witch who can bring people back from the dead, and she is ostracized for her ability because I guess even in the witch world, that's like considered like too far, like it's too much. This one seems super interesting, so we're gonna wrap this guy up. I bought this when I was in the airport in Indiana, and it is Child of Light by Terry Brooks. Yeah, I don't know. Terry Brooks is a huge fantasy author. This one just seems super interesting. Also, the cover is just beautiful. Like it has like the vines and like they're going over the lettering. And so we are going to also wrap this one. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I also got this one at the thrift store. I got this when I first started reading again and I had no idea what it was. I got this book and Dance of Thieves at the thrift store when I first started reading. Had no idea, like was not involved in Book Talk or Bookstagram or BookTube, like none of those things. And I was just like, oh, the synopsis sounds good, or they look cool, or whatever. And I picked like 2 like super popular books. I've had this since August of 2022 and I have not gotten around to reading it. I honestly think I was a little intimidated by the size of this book when I first started reading. It's over 400 pages. Now that's less intimidating to me, especially after finishing Gods and Monsters, the last book in the Serpent and Dove series, and that was over 600 pages. So this is less intimidating to me now than it was when I first got it. And then the last book is The Littlest Library, which I also picked up in the video that I filmed book shopping with my dad. And this just is so fun, and I thought it was so cute because I love little free libraries. I love the concept. I think they're so great and I love supporting them. And so this book is essentially a fiction about a girl who starts her own little library in a red telephone booth. This one just sounds really cute and interesting, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So we're going to wrap up these last 4 books, and then I will show you the stack. It is so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't wait to show you guys when they're all wrapped. Had to have a sip of tea, but the stack is done. Are you guys ready to see it? I'm so excited. It's so cute. Look at it. It's so cute. I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh. It is so cute. I just did simple wrapping so that none of them had like identifying factors so I wouldn't know what's what. But oh my gosh, they turned out so cute. I genuinely have no idea what book is what. We have the book stack and I will be grabbing one of these books every month in the year of 2023. And by the end of 2023, I will have gotten through 12 of the books on my shelf. I just thought that this was such a fun idea. I wanted to share it with you guys. Let me know if you guys do something like this or have done something like this in the past. I just think it's such a fun way to get through some books on your shelf and I don't know, kind of add like an element of surprise, make it a little more fun and interesting. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to have these beautifully wrapped books now sitting by my shelf that I get to pick from every month. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and I hope you guys are doing well this holiday season. I know this can be kind of a weird time of year for some people, positive and negative. So I hope you all are doing well and I will talk to you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.